Speakers that we've heard from so far. Can we get a round of applause? This guy to my right is trying to get up here without an introduction after giving amazing introductions tonight, to say the least. And I actually think that you kind of already heard it a little bit about who Joel is with the way that he introduces people. He cares so much. He has an amazing memory. Has an amazing way of making people feel seen, appreciated, cared for, and right, especially in college, walking around there, like college students want to feel seen. That's probably one of the biggest fears, is to feel like you don't have a place to belong, or does anybody see me? And so I feel like Joel's been an embodiment of that, especially to me personally. And it's interesting when you think about amazing spaces. Like obviously we're hearing stories about, you know, the amazing space of Front Porch. There's always facilitators of that space. I know Joel's title is technically director of Front Porch, but I see him more as like a facilitator of a space and kind of a culture creator of sorts, right? He's helped to craft the space. And so we do, yes, you're wondering. Yes, we get a chance to hear from Joel right now. So round of applause.
Well, thank you. It is, like I said, it is so good to be together. And I love being together with other people. And I can't tell you how much it means to me that you would give up your Saturday evening to come here and be together in this space. And so I hope tonight, above anything else, that you experience what Matt just spoke of. I hope, if nothing else tonight, that when you have been together in this space with this Front Porch, this greater Front Porch community, that you feel seen tonight, that you feel known, that you feel loved. That's truly my hope, is that when you came in here tonight, that you somehow would experience that. I know that there's a lot of you in here who know a ton of things about Front Porch. Some of you in here know way more about Front Porch than I do. And I know there's, again, like every year, there's some of you in here who this is your first experience with Front Porch altogether. And I want you to know, no matter where you fall in that scope, that you matter significantly, and I and the rest of the staff are incredibly glad and thankful that you are here. I'm going to do something which I do all the time, and I get made fun of. I did it last year's dinner. I did it the dinner before that. I do it every wedding I officiate. I do it on camping trips. I do it whenever people are gathered together, because I think it's really important, and we don't do it as human beings enough. I want you to take a moment, and I want you to look at the people sitting around your table. I know it might be awkward, but I just want you to see them. I want you to look them in the eye. You might know them well. You might not know them at all, but just kind of look at them. It's okay if you giggle and smile and laugh. That's okay. Now I would love for you to take a look around the greater room. Just kind of look behind you if you can. See everyone. Okay, now you can direct your attention back here. And what I hope happens, why I like to stop when in the middle of things like this and do that, is because sometimes I don't think we recognize the significance of moments and the significance of something like this happening, where we get to sit and share a meal with friends or complete strangers. Maybe tonight you met the people sitting around your table for the first time, and there is something profound about that. There is something profound about humans getting the chance to connect with other humans, and I don't think that we acknowledge that connection and the power of that connection enough. It's something that Front Porch is all about. Every Wednesday I remind the 300 students or so that come together for a meal that I say this, that there's something incredibly special about sharing a meal with other people. And I think that this, if nothing else tonight, that the fact that you got to share a meal with some other human beings, it is incredibly special and profound. Our theme tonight is Dream Together. If you didn't see that, this is beautiful, by the way. Thank you. Oh, we're going to stop for a moment, and we are going to thank Dom. Where's Dom? There she is. Dom, yeah, she deserves more than the thanks she just got. She put this whole event together. She coordinated it all. She got you all here. So thank you, Dom. our theme tonight is Dream Together, and Front Porch is an organization that, if you didn't know, is modeled after the life and teachings of someone that I consider to be the greatest dreamer of all time. Someone by the name of Jesus of Nazareth. And the depiction that we get of Jesus from what was written is of a person who not only dreamt of a new and more beautiful reality for this planet, but one who invited people to be a part of it, to embody it, and to begin to live it into reality, so that it wouldn't be merely a dream, but a tangible reality that you could see, that you could taste, that you could touch, that you could smell, that you could feel. And the defining characteristic of this new way of being that he invited people to be a part of was love, where people experienced acceptance, where people experienced hospitality, where they were known and heard and seen, and their needs were met, and they were celebrated as human beings. Where judgment was replaced with curiosity and a desire to learn more about the other person. Where arrogance was replaced with humility. Where the need to be right was replaced with a longing to be connected to the other person in front of you. Where a way of war and violence was replaced with a way of peace. And the movement that Jesus intended to start was always about love and how extravagantly you could do that. The movement that Jesus intended to start was always about love. Jesuit priest Greg Boyle says, if who we are is love, then we just transmit love. Love then is all we teach, all we communicate, and all that we should be putting out in this world. But Jesus' dream got turned into something very different rather quickly, I believe. Instead of a life to model and imitate, Jesus somehow got turned into a few theological tenets to either believe in or not believe in. I would suggest that what he was doing transcended religion altogether, and yet it got simplified into being simply another religion pitted against others. Jesus was inviting people into a different way of life, a way of life different from what had been presented from society, different from what had been presented by religion, different from what had been presented by those in power. And he was inviting people to be more fully human, to embrace their humanity, to recognize the sacredness, like you've heard tonight, of every person in every moment. And he then invited people to imagine with him all the ways that could unfold within a society. To be creative and not limited by what those in positions of power say is or isn't possible. I believe what Jesus was inviting people to pay attention to and be a part of was the movement of God. He referred to it himself as the kingdom of God. A movement of the divine in this world, a movement of love, a movement of connection. What Franciscan priest Richard Rohr refers to as the attraction of all things towards all things. It was this same force that I believe inspired people like Gandhi to dream about a better, first South Africa, then India, and eventually a better world. It was the same power that inspired Martin Luther King Jr. to dream about a better country. It was what inspired Nelson Mandela in South Africa. People who not only envisioned a better world, but lived into that. And this is what Front Porch is trying to do. We are inviting people to not only dream of a better way forward, but to be active participants in such a way and encourage them to begin dreaming themselves. Front Porch is very different from so many other faith organizations that exist. At Front Porch, we are not trying to convince people of a particular truth over and above some other truth. We aren't trying to present a particular theology and then set up programs to get students to adhere to that theology. These methods might work for some, and that's great. But I can tell you from years of experience with previous generations of college students, the current generation of college students, and more than likely the generations to come, that they are tired of right belief getting in the way of actual transformative love. They want nothing to do with institutions or organizations who claim to be love, yet continually do everything possible to set themselves apart within a given society. What they want to desperately know and are looking for every possible opportunity of is how they can be a more integrated force of love within this world. And this is exactly what Jesus invited people to be a part of. Some people say that this generation of students, Generation Z, wants nothing to do with religion. There's tons of articles written about it. That they want nothing to do with the church. That they want nothing to do with God. It is the highest percentage of atheists and agnostics that we have ever seen since, I guess, people started keeping track of that sort of thing. And in my experience, this is usually a statement of blame on the current generation or the current culture, coming from those who are religious. But I have to ask myself, because I come from that religious culture, have those of us who are within the church ever thought that maybe the problem isn't out there? That possibly the expression of the church that we have presented to the world has been the problem. That maybe the understanding of God that we have provided has been the problem. These are the questions that I began wrestling with when I came to Front Porch and have been wrestling with the past 10 years. So we decided to do an experiment of sorts with Front Porch. We created a space that would put radical, extravagant love on full display right in the middle of a college community. And we invited everybody to be a part of it. Not come be a part of it and listen to our speech, or come be a part of it and take our class, or come be a part of it and believe the same thing that we believe. Just come be a part of it. And from day one, experience full belonging within the community. And they belong, period. And then we just keep loving them, walking through life with them, a period of life that can be so many different things, that can be fun, that can be exciting, that can be exhilarating, that can be confusing and depressing and difficult and lonely and incredibly stressful. And we began caring about the entirety of who they were as a person, not just one component of who they are. And they then belong to a space that intentionally draws awareness to the connectedness that we all share, like I was talking about moments ago, and we believe is continually trying to take place in this universe. It's a space that encourages people to pay attention to what is going on just below the surface of every single moment and every single encounter. I would call that God. Some students come into our space and they don't want to call it God, they want to call it something else. I'm not going to argue with them. They can call it whatever they want, but it's happening. And we help them pay attention to it. And guess what? This experiment began to change people. It transformed people. Because when people experience genuine love, I believe they are experiencing, again, what I would call God, the divine spirit, the divine flow that is trying to pull us all towards something better, something more loving and kind and compassionate and hospitable and just and peaceful and more connected. And then we give students at Front Porch the opportunity to enter into that, to say yes to that spirit, to say yes to the thing that Jesus asked his followers to be in this world, to be love. Through Front Porch, students tangibly experience this love, and then they are given an opportunity to participate in it, as you've heard tonight, to say yes to it, to enter into it, to become a part of the process, again, of not only dreaming of a better way forward, but actually embodying a better way forward. So how do we accomplish this at Front Porch? We have a coffee shop, a free coffee shop that blows students' minds. In fact, it actually blows donors' minds too. I often get donors that come to me. I can't tell you how many donors, some of you in this room, that have come to me and said, so maybe it'd be a good idea if you actually start charging for the coffee. But we give it away for free. And it's an amazing thing that happens when you give something no strings attached for free. We have 500 to 600 students come through our space every single day, and I can't tell you how much fun it is. I can't tell you how energizing it is. I was just got to tell a couple people, it's like I come home from work, and it's like I've just drank 3 Red Bulls. I am so full of energy after spending a day in this coffee shop, and I get to do it every single day. And it's the most, again, the most energizing thing I've ever experienced. Imagine your favorite coffee shop being packed every time you went there, and that not being a bad thing, it being an incredibly good thing. Because the second you step foot in that space, you're met with the most radical love and hospitality that you've ever experienced in your life before. Each year, our staff then also recruits and trains volunteers. I think the number we're at is 90, I forget, it was on the trivia, 90 something that we currently have. And that's the core of who we are. That's our core group of students who then get to be this embodiment of love to the college campus. And our staff quickly recruits and trains and schedules them, and it's an amazing thing. We do Wednesday nights where we have 300 people come for dinner. I think our kickoff, we had over 400. Where's Mark? Mark's right there. Mark and his wife, Sue. Hi, guys. They came up with a group from Orcutt and barbecued tri-tip. And our kickoff this year, we had over 400 students. And if you could just imagine, like, one giant block party, it is amazing. It's like this, but a few more people than this, and we just share a meal together, and it is such a beautiful evening, and people feel loved and accepted. We do open mic nights. We have our Saturday night gatherings, which have gone through different iterations throughout the year. We've called them worship gatherings. We've called them Sunday mornings. We're now back to Saturdays. We're calling them shared space this quarter, this year, or space. But anyway, where we talk about all these things that I'm talking about. We talk about this depth of all things, that believing that all of this, all that we experience is saturated with the divine, and that we get to be a part of it, and what does it look like to be a part of that. Our interns host different things like field trips and take people on groups of students on hiking trips and to the thrift store, and I think last year they went to an art museum and all sorts of fun things. Again, all just about being with students and bringing them together and providing opportunities for more connection. Each of our staff meets with students every day. We meet with more and more students one-on-one. We're going on a camping trip in a couple weeks, which you got to hear from a student, Sela, that changed her. And it's so amazing to get to be a part of those things. So I hope as you've been here tonight that you have begun to get at least a small taste of how unique this thing called Front Porch is. That what we are doing and the way in which we are doing it is something that simply other people are not doing in this way within our society. That this is an organization that is not only transforming students' lives in the way that they view themselves as well as their place in the world, but one which is paving a better path forward in this world. And we are an organization that believes that there needs to be more front porches in this world. And after years of work, we have gotten to a place where we are in the final stages of restructuring Front Porch organizationally in such a way that will free us up to truly start living into some of the dreams that we have had about seeing Front Porch exist on other campuses in other cities, starting in the state of California. Who knows if it ever gets beyond that. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, our Associate Director, Dom, who we thanked moments ago, had an amazing conversation with someone who just recently retired as he was the Senior Associate Dean of Religious and Spiritual Life at USC, Jim Burklow, who Dom got to talk with for an hour and heard about Front Porch for the first time. And he was blown away with the model of ministry that we have. And he said to her, there needs to be more of these. And he's excited about being a part of that in the future and what that might look like. We have an amazing board of directors in place who spent the last year finalizing what the organizational structure will look like that will lead us into the future. We have spent so much time over the past couple of years reworking job descriptions, examining bylaws, making changes where needed to the organization, and I can't wait to keep you up to date on the process. We've already begun preliminary conversations in Santa Barbara with the hope of having a Front Porch in Isla Vista, right next to campus at UCSB sometime in the near future. But the reality is, like others have said, none of this happens without you. Not one of these things that I've talked about, I believe, happens without the community of people that are in this room tonight. You keep this thing going. Without you, this doesn't exist. The students' lives that have been changed and transformed, the students that are met, the students that find home and community, none of it happens without people like you who believe in what we are doing. And I truly believe that when we dream together and what we collectively dream about, we can make happen. And things will happen that we could have never imagined. This is a fundraiser. I think you all knew that when you came. At least I hope you all knew that when you came. Yeah, there's the free dinner. I think we got some people here just say, hey, there's a free dinner, come have free dinner. But it is a fundraiser. We have around $140,000 to raise between tonight and the end of the year to make our budget. And my hope is that we can make a major dent in that tonight. Really cool thing, which I hope you've seen advertised. We had an anonymous donor say that they would match $80,000, which is for this event tonight. That $80,000, the matching part won't hit our budget until January, so it'll be for 2023. But anything that we give that would be matched will obviously hit our budget for this year. And so we really want to try to make a dent in that $140,000. And we need whatever it is that you can give. We know that there's people here tonight that could make a major dent in that. We know there's people here tonight that could make a small dent in it. We know there's people here tonight that can't give anything, and we want you to know that that's fine. We want whatever it is that you can give to Front Porch, and that's not always financial, but we need whatever it is that you can give to make this community last for generations to come. So tonight I ask you to help us eliminate our current deficit, but I also, like years past, want to ask if you could consider not only giving tonight, but also possibly setting up a monthly donation to Front Porch, because one of the struggles with nonprofits is you have this giving period that's at the end of the year when everyone gives financially, which is great, and we wouldn't exist without that period. But it does make it really hard for the rest of the year when there's no money coming in or very little coming in. And so every year we just want to reiterate, if you're able to set up a monthly donation, it goes a long way to kind of easing things throughout the year, so when we get to events like tonight, we're not so heavily reliant on it. And lastly, I just wanted to tell you a couple things, and again, I've done this the past couple of years, and I think it's just helpful to let you know a little bit about what a couple amounts of money can do. So a $500 gift tonight would fund 2 of our Wednesday meals that you have heard about. It would fund 2 of those when we gather 30, and we gather 30 times a year to do those. Every Wednesday of each Cal Poly quarter to serve close to 300 students each week. And they are a significant part of a student's weekly rhythm during their time at Cal Poly. A weekly landmark that is just built into students' lives. A $2,000 gift tonight would cover the costs associated with the 200 or so one-on-one meetings that our staff has during the course of a quarter, where students are met on an individual basis with a staff member to be mentored, cared for, listened to, met wherever they find themselves at in life. A $5,000 gift tonight would keep the doors of our amazing space open for a month. A space which so many students call home, a space which has been the setting and catalyst for so much transformation within people's lives. There's couples actually in this. I was just told that there was a baby that exists in this room tonight that wouldn't have happened without the doors of Front Porch. And a $15,000 gift tonight would pay for 1 intern. We have 3 I recognize Dom. Would our 3 interns stand up real quick? I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but our 3 interns. Thank you. They are amazing, and we have past interns in this room as well. Some of the past interns were up on the screen. But a $15,000 gift tonight would pay for 1 intern for a 10-month period. And this year, again, we have 3. All 3 live on site at Front Porch. And the focus of our internship program is to give them upfront, hands-on experience of both creating and developing environments where genuine relationships can happen, with the hope that they would then go out into the world and have a passion to make this world a better place. So your money is making profound change. It's forging a new way forward for what community can look like within our society. And I believe that what Front Porch doing is a model for how we can better form and shape community within this world. I honestly, and I know I'm up here asking for money, but I don't know of a better investment. I literally don't. I've invested the past 10 years of my life doing this, and I can't think of a better 10 years spent. And I would not have wanted to invest it in anything else. And I have no plans of slowing down at this point. So I'm so incredibly thankful for all of you. I am so honored that you would choose to spend your Saturday evening here with us. with this life-changing community of people gathered here tonight to hear about how you are impacting the next generation of students and how through your extreme generosity we are creating spaces that are truly changing the world. I'm going to say a prayer, and then Matt's going to come up here and kind of give final instructions, and I believe dessert is going to be served. So let me pray. Oh, dessert is being served. Is that true? Oh. Still being served. Let me pray. God, thank you so much for this space, for this community, for these people in this room, for connection, for love, for the way that I believe you are constantly just moving through this world and inviting us to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And I thank you that Front Porch has given that opportunity for so many people, including myself. Love you. Amen. Here's Matt Mendoza.